Hello and welcome everyone. This is Race on Oz. It's Monday night, it's the PC League. My name is Nick and I will be taking you through 60 minutes of the Red Bull Ring this evening. I'm old enough to remember when it was the A1 Ring, but it's now been named the Red Bull Ring, which has been around for a fair while now. So let's have a quick look at the standings before we get underway. We've got about 4 minutes before free practice finishes. Max Ricker sitting on top. He finally popped his. He cracked the win column last week. So he was the round 7 victor. Sits atop of the championship standings, 491 points, 60 ahead of Terry Rayton, who took home a well-deserved P2 last week. Andrew Lawrence is sitting in third on 399 points. He had an interesting race last week, finishing 7th. Paul Russell came home in 9th, making up for his poor result the week before. Vinny Canero, once again, just Mr. Consistency, this guy. If he's not, he's DNF twice, and every other race he's finished within the top 10, so sitting there in 5th position. Nando Latenzio, who's got a special livery for this round, sitting in 6th on 292 points. Then you have Matt Frost sitting in 7th position on 279 points. And we've got James Mack in P3 last week. Give it up for James Mack, everyone. Awesome work from him. Very, very well-deserved P3 and a podium spot for him. He's had a cracking season as well. He's only raced 4 races, but he finished in the top 6, all 4. He was race 5, he had a DNF, but we won't talk about that. Chris Hildebrandt sitting there in 9th position on 253 points, and rounding out the top 10 is Mitch Hayes on 250 points. Let's have a quick look at the AM and the silver standings. So silver, it's Neil Fakeney sitting on top there on 265 points. It's all still very tight though, because Chris Hildebrandt's only 12 points behind him. And then a further 12 points behind Chris Hildebrandt is Mark Hurley, who's 24 points off Neil Fakeney. So it's very, very tight at the top for silver. Chris Taylor there in 4th on 144. 94, Adrian Rice in 5th place. Matthew Marsh sitting in 6th on 48. And then Peter Waugh sitting there 7th on 40. And Brian Kong yet to open up his account. AM, Mark Stevens leading the way, 233 points. He has a 32-point lead over Lee Perkins. And I don't think either of them are actually in the server this evening. So, Lee Perkins is. Stevens, don't think he is. Anyway, Wally Masterson sitting there in 3rd, 196. James Bridgens, 193. Herbertron in 5th, 175. Andrew Bonham, Mike Lewin, 14 points. Driver ballast you can see over there. So Terry Rayton's got 20 kilos, Andrew Lawrence 19, Max Ricker 18. Everyone else in single figures you can see on there. Let's have a quick look at the track. Don't have an interactive one, but it's the Red Bull Ring. It's a funny little circuit, this one. 4.31 kilometres. It has 10 turns. Short, despite only having 10 turns, it packs quite a punch, this track. Very unique turn 1, kind of a little bit reminiscent of Coda. Then heading up the hill, turn 2 is just a little kink there. Turn 3, see a lot of action through there. Then a short little run down into turn 4. And then I like to call this the jigsaw piece puzzle part of the track, 5, 6, 7, 8. It kind of looks like a jigsaw piece puzzle if you sort of look at it on the inside there. That's the most technical part of the track. And then turn 9, fast right-hander, another fast right-hander, and turn 10 to finish the lap. So we'll see what these guys have got in store. This is my first time ever commentating on a race at the Red Bull Ring in this particular sim. Done it plenty of times in others before, so I think we'll go all right. You can see there, Max Ricker, he was top of the times in free practice. So you can see him there, a 128.245 is his best time. Ricker. So we'll see how he goes in qualifying, which should be starting very, very shortly. So Who else do we have out on circuit? Paul Russell. I actually saw the car that this livery is taken from last night. I think it's in like the Formula One museum in, I'm going to say Canada, I think. But I saw that. I thought, hey, I know that livery. Vinny Canero is out there as well, just wrapping up his laps. So these are just the final two before we get the session underway. They come through turn 10. Where are these guys? Canero 10th, Russell 6th. There we go.
Green light, go, go, go.
Hope you're all well. Hope you all had a good weekend. And hope you enjoyed the driver interviews last week as well. We'll do that again this week. Peter Wall. He's changed from the ugly racing to just, I think it's an in-game livery, but something a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Plenty of cars making their way out on the circuit. Chris Hildebrandt in the Lexus. Can't miss that thing. Who else is out there? Matt Frost in the very familiar 666 Audi. Oh, there we go. Mark Stevens is in here. There we go. So he and Lee Perkins battling it out for the AM title right now. Next week, last round, round 9. Going to get Suzuka for 100 minutes. So that would be very exciting. But we've got to get this one, at least, not only get finished, but get started. Terry Rayton, he'll definitely be out there this evening, one would think. Adrian Rice, good to see him out there again. Andrew Lawrenson, see if he has a little bit better luck this week around. Max Ricker, I'm sure he'll be fast as usual. Where's Nando Latanzio? Where are you? Oh, he's in the pits, everyone. Have a look at that livery. That's a cracker. So he's done that especially for this event. Let's have a look at the track show with Benjamin Hignett, who's updated his livery for us this week. So it's not just the plain white. We'll have a quick look at it now. There we go. The Pit Vipers Tramstam team. Played baseball with a guy who wore Pit Vipers. I thought they were like a joke pair of sunglasses or something, but it's actually like it's a real brand. Maybe that's because I'm just really old and I don't know what cool is anymore. So, but here we go down the little run here into turn 4. So it sort of veers off to the left. It's a tricky corner here, using all of the track available to him. And this sort of downhill right-hander. Couple of relatively free-flowing left-handers. The car just wanting to step out. Tracks at 31, airs at 25. Track's optimal right now. Getting on early on the power through there. As we see him making his way down to turn 9, another fast right-hander. Let's see what sort of time. So we're looking at 1:28.245 was the fastest time in free practice. That was set by Max Ricker. Go to Chris Hildebrandt. He's heading across the line. Who else is out there? There's a whole plethora of cars. I'll try and catch one of them. Here's Mark Hurley from Red Rebel Racing. Heading across the line here. Who else do we have out there? We've got Vinny Canero. We've got a whole bunch of other cars. So Terry Rayton has gone to the top of the time to 1:28.335. So on the pace straight away that we saw in free practice. Here's Vinny. So he is... he's invalidated his lap. That's going to be a bit of an issue tonight, I would think, around here. Quite easy to invalidate your lap. Might see that happening a little bit this evening. Here's Herbertron crossing the line, moves up into P12. Mitch Hayes is one of the next ones to come through. Nando Latanzio, he's on an invalid lap. What about Benjamin Hignett, the man that we started with? He's out there again. So almost a third of the way through qualifying, and it is Terry Rayton sitting on a 128.335. Significantly down on his best time right now. Hignett, still a valid lap. Let's see what he can do. He's 3.5 tenths up on his best time and doesn't improve his positioning. What about Chris Hildebrandt making his way past Peter Law? Will be another one to go through. James Bridgens is another one. That's Max Rickard just getting out of the way there. What about Paul Russell? This will be his first competitive time. Let's see what he's got. He's just coming through turn 9 at the moment. So Rayton out there at the moment, only just started his lap. He's about 1.5 tenths up on his best time. Paul Russell is setting his first time, good enough for P5, so good strong start to Paul Russell. Heather Russell not watching us with us tonight. She's in Singapore. Good on ya, I say. Hope you're having a cracking time, Heather. Here's Neil Fakeney. Never been to Singapore. I heard it's quite hot and humid. Very clean though. So, just got a friend who got back from Cambodia. Highly recommended apparently, and Vietnam. Here's Fakeney. Maybe I should do like a travel series. Here's Fakeney. No, so he doesn't improve his position. I don't think anyone would want to hear that. Here's Terry Rayton in the Honda. That's it's a big slide. I wonder if he got a little bit distracted there by Hildebrandt and just broke concentration only momentarily, ended up facing the wrong way. Here's Mark Hurley as we're in the final 9 minutes, so we're not too far away from the halfway mark. Hurley 1.5 tenths up. He has invalidated his lap, unfortunately. What about Andrew Lawrenson? He's 0.125. Just under 1.5 tenths away from pole position. He was almost that up on his best lap time. Lost a bit of time through the final turn, and that's that for him. So he won't improve at this stage. Still 8 minutes 20 to go. Terry Rayton 128.335 is the time. We're watching Mitch Hayes make his way through the right-hander of turn 9. Wonder how many laps they're going to get done here this evening. Still doing 128, so yeah, it's still a decent lap. Half a second up, Mitch Hayes moves into P5. Good work from him. Here's Neil Fakeney. He was up on his best time, only marginally. Not enough to move him past Peter Wall at this stage, as he sends that Lamborghini through turn 10. Short run to the line. And just improves, but not enough to move positions. Here's Matt Frost heading out of turn 8 down into the right-hander turn 9 in the Audi. Went through the ballast earlier on as well. 3 tenths up on his best time. That'll crack the top 10 at this stage. Loses, scrubs off a little bit of time in the final 2 corners. Doesn't matter. Good enough for P9 for Matt Frost. Here's Vinny Canero. 3 tenths up on his best time. Could he get onto the 3rd row of the grid? 2nd row possibly. It's the short run to the line. And he goes up into P4. Nice work there from Vinny Canero. Here's Adrian Rice. He's going through the jigsaw piece puzzle at turn 7. Right-hander, turn 8. Red Bull Ring driving experience. Pretty good around here. So Rice is 4 tenths up on his best time. I don't know if it'll be good enough for top 10 at this stage. He's going to get pretty close though. I reckon maybe P11. There it is. Nice work, Adrian Rice. Having a good run in qualifying so far. Here's Mark Stevens, our AM Championship leader. He's battling it out with Lee Perkins, who's currently occupying P15. So Stevens needs to get a little bit of a move on here. He's 2.5 tenths up on his best time. He's just made up a little bit more ground now as well. So he's still a fair way from Lee Perkins. He's got Herbitron in front of him as well. So that's already a little bit of a barrier. Let's see as he finishes off his lap now. Invalidates it just at the last corner. That's the definition of frustration, right? Here's Max Ricker. He's using all of the circuit right now. He's got Nando Latenzio just in front of him. See if he might be able to get a little bit of a tow here. 2.5 tenths up on his best time. Can he get on the front row of the grid? Oh, almost. It was 0.05 of a second away from getting into the P2 front row. Is Adrian Rice continues to just chip away at his best time. He's 3 tenths up, almost 4 tenths he was at one stage. Where can he shake out? Yeah, good enough for P9. Lamborghini liking these conditions. Here's Lee Perkins. Here's the other driver battling it out for the AM class. He's invalidated his lap, so that's no good. Mark Stevens, he's down by 1.5 tenths. So they're still chasing this man here, Terry Rayton. A best time of 1:28.335 was set pretty early on, probably on one of his first runs. So he's not been able to improve it since, and no one's been able to really challenge him as of yet. Andrew Lawrenson, just under 1.5 tenths down from him in P2. Max Ricker a little further back. Hignett and Kinero, that's your top 5. You've got Hildebrandt, Hayes, Russell, Mack, Rice. That giant Red Bull statue in the background. As we're watching Rayton, so he's not going to improve on this lap. I'm just trying to get someone on a timed lap at the moment. Here's Herbertron coming through turn 10. Doesn't improve, so he still remains in P14. What about Mark Hurley? He's 3 tenths up on his best time. Now 4 tenths. That would be good enough to shake out about P14, possibly P15. Let's see if he moves up. He does. He goes into P15 for now. Who else is out there? James Mack, last week's podium getter, P3. He's back in the Red Rebel Racing entry, the McLaren 623. 3.5 tenths up on his best time. Don't think it'd get him in the top 5. Getting pretty close at this stage. Not that close. P9, but anyway, doesn't matter. He's getting there. What about Max Ricker? He's 1.5 tenths up, so he's 0.175 behind. Not quite fast enough to get pole position. Still got a few corners still to go in this lap. He's in the green right now. 2.5 minutes almost left in this qualifying session. Setting the grid, round number 8. Round number 8. 9 is next week. I'm getting one ahead of myself. Max Ricker, he's on pace here to take pole position. Just needs to navigate the final turn. Doesn't invalidate the lap. Keeps it nice and clean. Max Ricker, he's going to go to pole position, and he does. Nice work. Max Ricker, he takes pole position at this stage, still with 2 minutes 10 left. What about Adrian Rice? Continues to lower his best time at 29.155. He's 1.5 tenths up on that right now. That'd be good enough to leapfrog Nando Latenzio. He scrubbed off a bit of time there in the final couple of corners, so that robbed him of moving up. Mitch Hayes, he moves up into P5, so good result for Mitch Hayes. Who else do I have here on a valid lap? Max Ricker's on a valid lap. Andrew Lawrenson is out there, but he is currently down on his best time. We'll stick with him for now. Haven't seen too much of him yet. 1.5 minutes to go. They're all chasing Max Ricker. 0.035, so 3.5 hundredths of a second away from pole position. So there's nothing in it right now between Ricker and Lawrenson for pole position. Terry Rayton's out there, but he's on an invalid lap right now, going very, very slowly by the looks of things as well. As Lawrenson comes through the final turn now, will he be able to take pole position? He's dead even with his best time, loses a bit of time through the final turn. That's not going to be enough at this stage. He'll have one more crack at it. Vinny Kinero, he's sitting there in P6. He was 1.5 tenths up on his best time. That'd be good enough to jump up into P5, take away from Mitch Hayes. Take a little bit more work to get up to Hignett though at this stage. What's Canero got? Good enough for P5. Nice work, Vinny Canero. Here comes Mitch Hayes. He was a 10th up on his best time, but it's a bit of a gap now between he and Canero, about 3/10. He improves by almost 2/10, but not good enough to steal that position back from Vinny Canero. Here's James Bridgens. He's 3.5 up. There's about 10 seconds left in qualifying, so this is going to be it for Bridgens. Another one of the Red Rebel Racing entries. He's sitting 4th in the championship, 193 points, 40 away from the lead. He moves up into P12 for now. Here's Benjamin Hignett. He is about 1.5 up on his best time right now of a 128.452. The clock's gone 000, so we'll have no more time left after this. This will be his last run at it. It's do or die here. Looks like, can he grab a front row start? He comes through the final turn. I think he might be able to get on the front row here. Second row. P3, that's where he moves up to, but still on the second row. That's Matt Frost in the 666. He's 3/10 up on his best time, so he might be able to crack the top 10. Vinny Canero is 1.5 up on his best time as well. Let's see where Frost shakes out. P11, and Canero remains in P5. Mitch Hayes is on a timed lap right now. The last runner out there with on a valid lap. 2/10 up on his best time. Can he pinch P5? He does for Vinny Canero. Nice work, Mitch Hayes. With the clock's gone 000, he was able to turn it on, and he takes P5 away from Canero. But it's this man here, Max Ricker, who's taken pole position. He did it with a 128.195. Sound like they're going high factor. Nice work from Vinny Canero. Nothing separates. 1.5 separating the top 5. This is all set up for a cracking race. Hildebrand, he is the highest of the silver drivers, so in outright P7, and then it was Bridgens, the highest of the AM drivers, in P14 outright. But congratulations, Max Ricker. He's taken pole position for round number 8 of this championship. I'll be back in about 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Sit tight, and we'll be getting ready for the lights out of this one. All right, we're back. Here we go. Cool. All right, let's quickly go through this grid. So as I mentioned, it's a very, very tight field. But Max Ricker, he took P1. Andrew Lawrenson will start the race from grid slot number 2. Benjamin Hignett not far behind him. There was 1.5 tenths separating the top 5. Have a look at that. It's not a bad little livery, is it? I like it. It's different. I like the colours. Terry Rayton, Sydney starting in P4. It's a good top 4 right now that we've got going on. No disrespect to the rest of them, but it's going to be interesting. Turn 1, that's for sure. Up the hill, Mitch Hayes took that P5 at the last, in the dying moments. Hey, where's James Pierre-Reid tonight? That's have some technical. No disrespect to the rest. Yeah, where's James Pierre-Reid? I don't know. He was back last week, but not this week. He's Chris Hildebrandt. Listen to the V8. That Lexus. Paul Russell, he will begin the race from P8. So good start for him. James Mack beginning the race from P9. So good to see him with a top 10 start. Neil Fakeney, he's the leader in the Silver Class Championship in the number 9 Lamborghini. He's starting from row position 8. Matt Frost, is that row position? Grid slot? Whatever. Row 5. 11th is Matt Frost in the 666 Audi. Nando Latenzio. It's a nice looking livery, isn't it? He really nailed that. He's a bit of a livery guru, this old Nando Latenzio. So I'm digging it. I like it. So he's 12th. 13th is Adrian Rice. Ooh, unlucky for some, lucky for others. James Bridgens in 14th. The old British touring cars inspired livery. Herbertron, he's going to start the race from P15. 16th is Mark Hurley in the Ferrari, another Red Rebel Racing entry. Man, this guy does so much racing. Like, he is racing console, he races PC, he does everything, Mark Hurley. Peter Wall in P number 17, Team Bilstein, Black Falcon. Looks alright, doesn't it? It's an in-game livery, but you know. Lee Perkins, Merlin Motorsport, starting 18th, and 19th is Mark Stevens. So he's our AM Championship leader. He and Lee Perkins. They're lucky Wally Masterson isn't racing tonight. There's another regular that we don't see this evening. But anyway, getting set. Doesn't look like there's any weather on the way tonight. There's a mandatory stop for tyres. Refueling is permitted, but it is permitted, but optional. So they can refuel, but they don't have to. So there you go. Not too sure what the deck is like around here, or tyre wear and things like that. Haven't turned too many laps. You would think probably the left hand side of the car would get a fair workout around here. Anyway, we're about to find out. Max Ricker is going to lead them away along the front straight. We'll get the signal very, very shortly. And there it is. Now, there we go. Round 8 is underway. Ricker got a pretty good jump there. Hignett closing in as well. Lawrenson's going to go up the inside. Terry Rayton with a massive dive up the inside. He's made a bit of contact with Hignett as well. They've both managed to keep both cars facing the right way. Here's Paul Russell. It was 3 wide there for a second. It's 3 wide, a little bit further back. It's Latenzio and Bridgens as they all file into turn 3. Looks like Lawrenson trying to wrestle the lead away. He does from Ricker. So we've got a new leader of the race. It's an angry pack following behind though, and it looks like mostly everyone's gotten away nice and clean, which is a great effort from everyone. So Nice work to all the drivers. Ricker now just having to go on the defensive. Hignett trying to send it down the inside here. It's a McLaren versus Lamborghini. Max Ricker will have the inside line here. He's going to force Hignett wide. Hignett would still want to try and get the run on in here because he'll have the inside line after this one. So not quite able to do that. He's going to fight back. This is great racing between the two. Latenzio's made up a spot on Bridgens a little bit further back in the field. We're going to stick with this action right now as Ricker manages to just hold on there. So, what happened to Hignett then? He sort of just speared left for a second. Not too sure, but he's managed to keep it facing the right way. There's Lawrenson. Ricker Hayes has moved up into P3. Vinny Canero and Hignett battling it out right now for P4 and 5 as they head up the hill. So Hignett managing to hold on to P4. Hildebrandt dropped down a few spots as well. Bridgens and Rice both going at it as they're heading up the hill through turn 2 for the right-hander at turn 3. Little bit of bumping and grinding there, but it's all good as Rice gets a nudge from behind and another one for good measure, and a spun him 180 degrees. He's going to have to flick that around and he will drop down into P18. So the TPD, not TPG is the internet provider, TPD might have a look at that as they do with all early race incidents. Stevens has already moved up into P16 after starting in P19. He's just duking it out with Herbertron there. Who's at the back? Adrian Rice has had another spin. I think he has, yep. That's not going to be a very happy man behind the wheel of that Lamborghini right now. In the meantime, at the front of the field, Lawrenson has already opened up a 1.3 second gap on Max Ricker. You can see the difference right there. Mitch Hayes now coming under fire from Benjamin Hignett, who's sitting in 4th. Vinny Canero, he's sitting in 5th. He's got Terry Rayton tucked in behind him. So Terry Rayton, he started, where did he start? He started 4th. He's dropped down a couple of spots already. So he's looking for way past the Porsche. I think he's the only Porsche in the field this evening is Vinny Canero. And there is Rayton. We've already seen him getting a little bit of a bump and grind on earlier in the race, and he does exactly that. Gets the elbows out and he moves up into P5 at turn 3. Benjamin Hignett now. This is going to be a bit of a test for Mitch Hayes here, because Hignett certainly got the pace, as has Hayes. But we've seen Hignett, a race winner from a couple of rounds ago. Started the season off a little bit rough, but here he is right now. Still not in the top 10 of the overall championship as one of the pro drivers, but yeah, still going all right though. Yeah, had a rough start to the season, as I said, as they head up towards turn 9. Down the front straight now. That was Canero just weaving. He's got Russell breathing down his neck right now as they go up the hill into turn 1. Not quite there for Russell at this stage. Back to Hignett, tucked right under the rear wing of Mitch Hayes. It's going to be a drag race between the two Lamborghinis up through turn 2 into the right-hander at turn 3. Who's the latest on the brakes? Hignett just brakes a little bit later. Hayes gets forced a little bit wide there just due to the nature of the corner. And Benjamin Hignett, nice move from him. Not quite over yet. And there we go. Oh, just Hayes hanging in there. He's not going to give it up without a fight. And there we go. Benjamin Hignett now up into P3. And Hayes now has an angry Terry Rayton behind him. Rayton dives down the inside line there. Gets the job done. Let's have a quick look at that on the replay because I kind of missed it. So there was Hignett. Hayes was tucked in behind him. And then all of a sudden, sees the Honda dart out to the left, dives up the inside, big dive, and gets the job done. Nice work, Terry Rayton. That's some good driving right there. So he moves up into P4 as Lawrenson has already opened up a 2-second gap to Max Ricker. Mitch Hayes fighting back on the Honda as they go up the hill into turn 1. Kinero just tucked in behind these two, so he'll be looking to take advantage of any squabbling between these two cars, as will Paul Russell. And Kinero does exactly that. The Porsche gets a nice run up the hill out of turn 1. Might even get a bit of a tow here from the Honda. As they come into turn 3, the right-hander and Hayes loses the spot to Kinero. So nice driving there from Vinny Kinero. He now moves up into P5 as Hildebrandt trying to get the move done on James Mack here, or Mack trying to get the move on Hildebrandt. Either way, it's Mack now occupying P8 ahead of Chris Hildebrandt. So nice work there from James Mack. I think he started P10. So already moving up spots 2, in fact, into P8. Back to Kinero chasing down Rayton. It's a very, very compacted field from about 4th down to 12th. Right now we're watching the battle for 12th between Matt Frost and Nando Lattanzio. Nando looked like he was certainly tempted by a move up the inside there through turn 10. Thought better of it. Tucks into the draft of Matt Frost. There's a move going into turn 1. Not right now. And thinks better of it. A little scrap between Hildebrandt and Fakeney is looking good right now. As we look back from the rear of the Lexus, that V8 roaring. There's Frost closing up under brakes as well, that Audi. And looks like Lattanzio has managed to make a move as well. So amongst all of that, Nando Lattanzio is able to take the opportunity to get P11. Here's Hayes and Russell. So Paul Russell sends it up the inside. Nice work from him. And he gets the job done. Let's have a quick look at how that came about. So this is right at the sort of the apex of it all. And it was a drag race. It was 2 Lamborghinis. And once again, Mitch Hayes just slightly outbraked. We saw that with Hignett. And we see that again with Paul Russell. So you would think braking would be like relatively easy. You've just got to, brake at the right time. But it is often the difference between, really fast guys. I'm not saying Mitch Hayes is not fast, but it's just one of those things you kind of don't really think about it too much. But it can make a big difference. Anyway, in the meantime, Hildebrandt and Mack having a good old scrap down here in 8th and 9th. Kinero back up there in 5th. So the gap has already sort of drifted out right now. You can see that here. Andrew Lawrenson, it's at 1.8 seconds the difference between he and Max Ricker. Last lap around, Andrew Lawrenson did a 128.737. Max Ricker did a 128.557. So the fastest lap of the race, but still it remains at almost 2 seconds the difference between the two. Hignett is a further 3 seconds adrift of those guys, but he's got Rayton and Kinero for company. More so, Rayton has Kinero for company at this stage. Then it's Russell, Hayes, James Mack, Hildebrandt and Fakeney. Highest of the silver drivers is Hildebrandt. Highest of the AM drivers is Mark Stevens. So he's our AM championship leader, and he is currently sitting in P15 ahead of the 3 other AM drivers in this race right now. So his championship aspirations are looking quite good at this stage. In the meantime, we go back to Neil Fakeney, a silver class championship leader. He's battling it out with Chris Hildebrandt for the silver championship at the moment. There's only 12 points separating them right now. So good battles and championship impacting battles going on throughout the field. And Andrew Lawrence, you just get the feeling you can't keep a good man down for too long. And his last race was 7th. The race before that was 3rd and a win. And he didn't race the couple of weeks before that. So you kind of feel like he's due for a win. And right now, he's putting himself in that best position to do so. 1.8 seconds the gap between he and Max Ricker. He's our overall championship leader. 60 points ahead of Terry Rayton. 92 points ahead of our race leader, Andrew Lawrence. So it'd be great to see if all 3 championships went down to the last race next week in Suzuka. What a fitting race to have as the final race in the championship. So many world championships have been decided at circuit with such a rich history. Great track as well. Still have all 19 drivers, not too far away from the quarter-way mark as well. And once again, it's been a decent old race. We had 2 absolute crackers in a row. And we've got plenty of action in this one too. We've got a good gaggle of cars going on. Hildebrandt, Fakeney, Latanzio and Frost just trying to get himself caught up to this little train here. See if he can make some moves. In terms of risers and fallers, the highest riser is Peter Wall. He's moved up 4 spots. Mark Stevens has moved up 4 spots. The biggest faller, unfortunately, is Adrian Rice. He's dropped down 6 spots to P19. So starting 13th has proved to be unlucky for him in this case. As Terry Rayton gets the move done on Hignett, let's have a look at how this has come about. So where are they? I think this is into turn 4, it looks like. Yep. Down the inside of the right-hander. And there you go, Terry Rayton gets the move done on Hignett. Now moves himself into P3. Last lap around, Rayton was a 28.375. Hignett was a 28.6. So Rayton had that little advantage and he's taken it. Currently sitting in P3. So the top 3 in the championship, in the top 3 of the race. As we're not too far away from the quarter-way mark. We're watching Hildebrandt have a bit of a look there at the McLaren of James Mack, who's managing to hold him off so far. That's what Fakeney has behind him. You see Latanzio and Frost looks like he's properly caught up to this little train of cars right now. Just listen to it. Oh, that was some big news that happened during the week as well. The Ford has made an appearance, kind of like just randomly out of nowhere. Here's Latanzio sending a move out of nowhere. He's going down the inside. Fakeney, he'll have the inside run for the next corner as well. That Ferrari's getting a little bit squirrely under power, but in the end, he's managed to get it done. And Neil Fakeney just made a little bit of contact there, and he's come off a little bit worse for wear. Let's go back on board with that from Fakeney's perspective. They were side by side, and then it's just it kind of washed out at the front end there, and yeah, that wasn't how Neil Fakeney would have envisioned it. So Silver Class Championship leader has plummeted down into P16, while his chaser Chris Hildebrandt is up there in P9 right now, trying to make that P8 in fact, as he goes side by side up the hill through turn 2. He's going to have to go around the outside of turn 3. James Mack is certainly going to make it hard for him though, but he had plenty of grip around the outside, just surfs the sausage curb for a little bit. This is not over yet, they're still going side by side. might just have the advantage here. He does. So Hildebrand moves himself up into P8. So nice work there from the Lexus driver. And he's the highest of the silver class right now. So he's having a cracking run at this stage. Where did he start? He started in P7. So he had dropped a couple of spots. Look at that camera angle. It's a cracker. Oh no! Terry Rayton and Benjamin Hignett! What happened here? So, where is this? This looks like, is it turn 9? I think it is, yep. Oh, he's just lost it by himself. It's the back end, and then Hignett had to take evasive action, and I think he's gone into the pits there. He has. Look at that. So, in avoiding the crash, while avoiding making contact, he's had to stop, and that's a forced stop there. Terry Rayton is in the pits as well, but Benjamin Hignett, as he took avoiding action, he's had to come into the pits. That's very early. Mandatory stop for tyres. Refueling is permitted, but it is optional, so it's not mandatory. As Matt Frost gets the move done on James Mack. Mack fighting back. Let's see how that came about. So this is at turn 3. And there you go. Matt Frost gets the job done. That's Nando Latenzio in the background. So Frost has moved out into P7. And Frost back down into P8. But he did start in P10. So still a good race overall for him. Now, where did Hignett shake out? So P18, and you can see he's got a little bit of, he's got some battle scars there on the front of the car, and Terry Rayton down in 19th. How long was he stopped? No, they're identical, so 32 seconds stopped, and a minute 1 in total for the pit lane entry and exit. Back to Latenzio. Now, having a look at James Mack here into turn 1. Going alright. Latenzio, he's up 3 spots from his original starting position of P12. Almost third race distance. So Fakeney getting the job done there on Herbertron, or not quite yet. It's a race up the hill. Back from McLaren. Antron and Fakeney going up the inside. Make a little bit of contact there, and Herbertron was lucky the car sort of like ghosted out. And he managed to like sort of go through the car. So we should have a look at the replay actually. Let's go. Watch this. I don't know if we'll do it on the replay. Watch this. He just goes through him. Look at that. So kind of it worked out well for him, because otherwise he would have bounced off, and I dare say he would have turned around, unfortunately. So back to live action. Watching Nando Latenzio. He's got the lights on. He's got the full enduro lights on. It means business hunting down Mack in that Red Rebel Racing 623 McLaren. He's only seconds away from ticking over to the third race distance. Lawrenson continues to lead. It's been hovering about 1.8 to 2 seconds, the difference between the two. Last lap to Andrew Lawrenson was a 128.955. And Max Rickard did a 128.987. So nothing really separating them at the moment. Hence that margin just hovering around the 1.8 to 2 second mark between these two. Vinny Canero sitting there in third position. He's about 7.5 seconds off the other two. He's lapping at 29.170, so still pretty competitive times. And he's got a whole track pretty much by himself at this stage, because Paul Russell's 4.5 seconds rear of Canero. And Russell was lapping about 6/10 slower than Canero on that last lap. Hayes was 4/10 slower, but a couple of tenths faster than Russell. So So it's 2 seconds between Russell and Hayes. Hildebrandt is a little bit further back, 4 seconds between him and Hayes. And as you can see, he's got Frost for company right now. He's having a good race right now. Matt Frost started 11th up into P7, so 4 positions to the better for him since the green light, and having a good race. James Mack seems like he's been under a lot of attack throughout this one. 3rd race distance just ticking over not long ago. Watching from the rear of that McLaren, the Red Bull liveried Ferrari of Mando Lattanzio, tucked in behind. Speeds? No, they don't have speed traps, unfortunately. Lattanzio, see if he can get a nice run out of turn 3, the right-hander. Not quite, so draft either down into turn 4. Looks like he was tempted. Oh, Mack just runs a little bit deep under brakes. And that's going to open it up for Lattanzio, who takes the spot away. Wrong one, Nick. There we go. And as you can see, Mando Lattanzio is now in P8. So Mack just a little mistake there. And that's all Lattanzio needed to walk through and take that position away from him. So he'll just have to regather himself. See if he can go again after not going to quite reach the heights of last week with P3, although there still is 37.5 minutes left in this one. So anything can happen. Weather doesn't look like it's going to be any issue at all. 23 degrees air temperature, 25 degrees track temperature, so beautiful conditions for racing right now. Matt Frost is enjoying those conditions. A 29.547 on that last lap, so he's going all right. He's chasing down Hildebrandt. He's about the 10th faster on that last lap, so nothing really separating these two either right now. And it looks like Neil Fakeney has managed to get the job done on Mark Stevens. Like it was coming out of turn 1. What's happened? What have you done, Mark Stevens? Oh, he's gone off by himself. So, and there's Fakeney just waltzing through. So, Mark Stevens making a bit of a mistake there. That's dropped him out of the lead of the AM class. So, he's sitting in second. Ahead of the AM class right now is Herbertron in the 512 Red Rebel Racing McLaren. You see just in front of him there, with Neil Fakeney just a little bit further up ahead in that green and silver Lamborghini. So Stevens is going to have to do a bit of a recovery drive here right now to see if he can take out a class victory. Lee Perkins tucked in right behind him. So P1 and 2. Oh, Herbertron makes a little bit of a mistake. So that was short-lived. Let's see what happened to him here. All on board. Fakeney ahead. So he's going through 6 now. This is 7. Oh, he just understeered off. And then yeah, he's hit the sand and no good. Oh well, minimal harm done to him. Just drops a couple of spots, but doesn't hit anything or anyone, and he keeps on moving. Here's Matt Frost having a good drive right now, as mentioned. Started in P11, currently 7th, and there was 71,000 for the second separating Chris Hildebrandt and Matt Frost on that previous lap. So he's just going to have to try and pressure the Lexus driver as much as he can, try and force a mistake out of him, see if he can climb a little bit further up the timetables as James Mack comes into the pits with 35 minutes remaining. So that's getting his pit stop out of the way. Speaking of pit stops, what happened to our guys that stopped earlier? So Hignett down there in 17th had to take avoiding action to miss Terry Rayton coming through turn 10 it was. Didn't even get to turn 9, sorry. Didn't get to turn 10. Love that camera angle from there. It's good. Yeah, so Hignett and Rayton down there in 17th and 18th. Last lap around 28.772 to Hignett at 28.952 to Rayton. So So that gives you an idea of lap times for them. Last lap around, Lawrenson did a 29.1, 29 flat to Ricker. So those guys getting a little bit further, well, opposite end of the field. Quite nicely right now. The total pit lane time, though, I think is a minute 1. Let me just check here. Yeah, 1 minute, a minute 1. Mac was a minute 4. And right now, off the leader, Rayton is, yeah, he's a fair way off it right now. So he's got to finish lap 16, so it'll give us about a minute 15, I think. Yeah, so their race is not in an optimal position right now, but we'll have to wait for the pit stops to shake out, which might not be too much further away as we're closing in on the halfway mark at this stage. Only 3 minutes away is Latenzio. He just did 1:29.2, almost a second faster than Matt Frost on that previous lap, who lost about 4/10 to Hildebrand as well. So Frost just falling back into the clutches here of Latenzio. As Hildebrand maintains his spot in P6, leader of the silver class. AM class belongs to Mark Stevens and outright belongs to Andrew Lawrenson, who has opened up the gap on Max Ricker, so it's drifted out to 2.8 seconds, covering about 2 seconds for a little while there. He was 1.5 tenths faster on that previous lap than Max Ricker, so not massive differences, but accumulate over time, multiple laps, it does add up. So just hovering there at a couple of seconds right now. I wonder if Max has gone into the pits. Here we go. So, and Lawrenson is continuing around. All right, here we go. Max Ricker trying to perform the undercut. Let's see, 10 seconds already in the pits. Canero is in the pits as well, so he's decided to take this opportunity and he's making his stop. Where's Ricker? He's stopped. Canero hits his marks. Boom, got it. Nice work. Here's Lawrenson. Will he respond? Or will he just stick to his own strategy? He's heading down the hill into turn 4 right now. Where are you, Ricker? He's still stationary. How long has it been? 45 seconds. As Lawrenson continues around. Canero in there with him as well. He was about 10 seconds after Ricker. And Ricker is underway. Here he goes. So he'll head out. Off he goes. Canero is all done as well. All eyes on the pink Audi right now, the 444 belonging to Andrew Lawrenson. What will he do? Will he decide to pit as well? And he is. There we go. So Lawrenson making his pit stop. Gets it down to 50. It's not on board with him. Let's see. Pressure stop here. He's got a car in the way too. Who's that? That's Bridgens in the BMW. Navigates through there. And let's see him through. Done. Alright. Hildebrand, he's making his stop. As is Mitch Hayes. As is Matt Frost. The man that we all want to see though is this man here, Max Ricker. Here we go. So, making his way through turn 7 now. Lawrenson shouldn't be too far away from dropping. Here's Ricker. A few other cars in the pits now as well. Mark Hurley is the newest entry. Here's Lawrenson. Ricker's coming through the final turn. Lawrenson is about to hit the mark. There he goes. And here comes Max Ricker. I think Lawrenson is going to be able to hold on here. Wrong one. There we go. And there it is. There's the difference between Max Ricker and Andrew Lawrenson. And if anything, Lawrenson has managed to further the gap between the two. So cracking stop there from Andrew Lawrenson. A minute 1 in total, 32 seconds stop time. As Mark Hurley getting out of there now. And they both did identical stops. Did Ricker and Lawrenson. So Andrew Lawrenson in control of this one. Currently P8. He was essentially net P1. Ricker 2.8 seconds, which was about the gap that they had when Max Ricker decided to pit. So hasn't really gained anything, nor has he lost anything. He's just held pat at this stage, as Perkins making his way into the pits, as is Stevens. So he's got some battle scars there on the front of that Ferrari. I think that is Adrian Rice in the background. He'd worked his way up into P7 after having a couple of early race spins, as Lawrenson breezes through into turn 1, so he moves up into P5. This is Max Ricker giving chase right now. He's already brought the gap down a few tenths on that last lap as well. So these two drivers will get back into the groove of things and continuing on. Now, having a look at a few other drivers a little bit further down the field, Terry Rayton has now moved up into P9. So he had a very, very early pit stop, as did Hignett. He's doing a little bit better now. He's up in P7. So that is behind Max Ricker right now. So Hignett could possibly be in P3 here, as Paul Russell making his stop. Adrian Rice still in there. That's Nando Latenzio coming into the pits now as well. So it was about the halfway mark when all the pit stops were kicked off, basically, except for Rayton and Hignett earlier on. They were at about the 17, 18 minute mark. Here's Fakey in there. Here's Wall. That's Russell still. And that's Latenzio just getting to his spot. And it looks like Bridgens was able to get past Adrian Rice, who's back out on the circuit down there in P19 right now for him. So Andrew Lawrenson about to breeze through past the car stationary in the pits, and he retakes P1. So our race leader has been put back in place. It's Andrew Lawrenson leading the way, 2.2 seconds the gap between he and Max Ricker right now. So last lap around, Ricker was about 1.5 tenths faster than Lawrenson. So he's going to try and make up some ground. There's Benjamin Hignett as well. You saw the flash of the purple in the background. He's sitting in third. Canero is fourth. Paul Russell having a good race, sitting there in P5. Now being hunted down by Terry Rayton though. So Russell will have the fresher tyres. He has only just come out of the pits. Rayton was coming out of the pits about 17 minutes ago. So Tanzio and Frost going at it right now. That's I think this would have been a drag race out of the pits, in fact. So they're going to go down into turn 3. Latenzio will have the inside line. Going to have to go hard on the brakes here, and manages to hold that position. So Nando Latenzio currently sitting there in P9. It's going to be a great battle between those two to the checkered flag. 24 minutes and about 45 seconds away. So just over the halfway mark. Plenty of time left in this one. Round number 8 of the season, the penultimate round. Round 9 next week in Suzuka will wrap up the season. Terry Rayton, he's still in championship contention, 60 points behind Max Ricker. He's sitting on 491 in total. Andrew Lawrenson, our leader, on 399. So wouldn't that be a phenomenal effort to come home and he took 2 wins? That's the best he can do. Not be enough to claim the championship. Have to wait and see. He's got to get through the next 24 minutes of this one, so let's not count our chickens before they hatch. Let's focus on Terry Rayton hunting down Paul Russell right now. So last lap around, Russell was that was his in lap, but Rayton did a 29.357, very close to his fastest time of the race. Oh no, it's a second off. That's mine. I thought it was closest, but it's not. It's a second off his fastest lap, which is the fastest lap of the race. Challenge here for Paul Russell to hold on. Terry Rayton's definitely going to pour on as much pressure as he possibly can, try and force a mistake from Russell. I've seen Paul Russell soak up plenty of pressure in the past, so he's definitely a driver that's up for it. Having a good race up there in P5. Wouldn't be his best finishing spot. He did finish third in round number 4. So he's had a pretty good season. DNF 6th, 5th, 3rd, 7th, 18th and 9th. Currently sitting P5. Oh, not for much longer as Rayton goes up the inside and takes that position away from Russell. Let's have a quick look at how that came about. Here. Looks like Russell ran a little bit wide. I was going to say we've seen Terry Rayton already with some really good overtaking, and wasn't much different. So nice work from him. He's moved up now back into P5. He is 8.5 seconds adrift though of Vinny Canero, so he's got his work cut out for him. Canero 29 flat that last lap, a 28.9 to Rayton, so not a huge discrepancy in pace between those two. So Rayton, lots of work still to do in the remaining 21.5 minutes left in the race. Paul Russell will of course want to try and hang around as much as he possibly can. We'll get a bit of an idea on lap times, and he was a second slower on that last lap, Paul Russell on Terry Rayton, so he's got it all to do. In the meantime, we'll check out Mark Hurley and Peter Wall. So Wall currently occupying P11, Wall in P12, Hurley in P13. Last lap around, Peter Wall did a 30.4. Mark Hurley was a 31.5, so 2.5 tenths faster on that previous lap. And the driver behind them in the green Lamborghini, the number 9 Silver Class Championship leader, Neil Fakeney, he was faster than both of them by about almost half a second faster than Wall and a couple of tenths faster than Hurley. So he's gathering some momentum. In terms of championship implications, so Chris Hildebrandt having a cracker right now. Up there in P8 outright and P1 in class, and Paul Russell just hanging around with Terry Rayton now, so that little mistake cost him the position, but just shows that his pace is good enough to match it with the Honda of Rayton right now. As we see Mitch Hayes just in the background, he's in P7 outright as well, so he's in the race with these two here. He'll be hoping they can squabble together and just allow him to insert himself into this little battle for 5th, 6th and 7th that is going on. In the meantime, Lattanzio closing in on our Silver Class leader, Chris Hildebrandt. Sorry about that. Just had to quickly fix something up there. Looks like Fakeney and Hurley managed to swap positions. There we go. We see the end of it with Fakeney going down the inside. And go back to live action. And we got Lattanzio trying to put a move here on Hildebrand as we go on board. Nice work there from Lattanzio. Gets the job done under brakes. Nice driving there. Nando Lattanzio. So he moves up into P8. And Paul Russell, as mentioned, continues just to hang around the rear of that Honda belonging to Terry Rayton. So those two are squabbling over P5 and P6. Now out in front, it's Andrew Lawrenson leading from the man that we saw on the screen there. Last lap around, Lawrenson did a 1:28.477. Ricker did a 28.845. So the gap sitting at 3 seconds, 2.5 to 3 seconds, hovering around there right now. So we get back to Rayton and Russell. Having a good little scrap here right now. I think Russell will be close enough to launch an attack. Just quite yet on Terry Rayton, but mistake just ending up costing him a fair bit. So we make a few laps ago, Paul Russell, but trying to make up for it the best that he possibly can. Back to Hurley and Fakeney. Last lap, yeah, these guys swap positions. So Fakeney 29.6 to a 29.9. They're the sort of two closest battles we have right now. And Ricker hunting down Lawrence, and still 3 seconds the difference between those two. Lap around 29.045 to Rayton, 29.050 to Russell. So, can we see like track violations or anything on here? I don't think we can. No, doesn't look like it. So, I was going to say, will that come in to play in the late stages of this one? We'll find out. We're into the final quarter hour. 15 minutes left. Andrew Lawrenson leading from Ricker, Hignett, Kinnearo and Rayton. That's your top five. And just outside that top five is the man on screen, Hayes, Lattanzio, Hildebrand and Frost. Hildebrand is the current silver class leader. And the current AM class leader is Lee Perkins. And he's leading... He's second in the championship to Mark Stevens, who's a couple of spots behind him, and third in class. This is good stuff. There's championship implications in every class right now. As we're watching Terry Rayton and Paul Russell do battle. And the reason we're watching them, they're the two closest cars out on track. Fakeney and Peter Wall now. So Fakeney recently managed to get past Mark Hurley. Now has his sights set on the BMW, the 170 belonging to Peter Wall. And I think took class victory last week as well, so he's been in good form as Peter Wall. into... I don't think you can get another class picture here. Hildebrand is quite a way up the road. And yeah, he's got his hands full right now with the man that we're on board with. That's Neil Fakeney. Head up the hill into the right-hander of turn 3. Race everything around here, 4 wheels and as well as 2 wheels. Had the MotoGP last night. We had the 6-hour of Spa, which was red flagged for 2 hours on the weekend. A big crash on the Kemmel Straight. We had some more GT. We had the Asia Series this weekend gone. What else? Yeah, and like I said, the Ford dropped. When did it drop? Like Wednesday or Thursday, I think, last week for PC, which was pretty cool. It was very much out of nowhere. Fanatec are going to get brought out. 70 million by Corsair, or however you pronounce it. So plenty happening in real and the sim world as well. How the mighty have fallen, huh? Fanatec, who would have thought it? Oh well, then for brakes, eh? So Neil Fakeney just continuing to make ground on Peter Wall. Will we see him launch an attack here? Ducks out of the draft a little bit there. Thought about it, then thought better of it. Feeling that Neil Fakeney just lining up Wall here. Last lap around he was a couple of tenths faster than the car in front. Mark Hurley hanging on the back of these guys as well, and then Paul Russell is all over the back of Terry Rayton. About 1.5 tenths separating these two on their previous lap. What about this one? Oh, once again, it's 5/100ths of a second, the difference in lap times between Rayton and Russell. So those two are going to fight it out for 5th and 6th. That'll be music to Vinny Caniero's ears, because he's about 12 seconds up the road and he'd like to keep it like that. And he's only 2.5 seconds behind this man right now. Last lap around, he was about 2.5 tenths faster, was Vinny Caniero, than Benjamin Hignett. So Caniero got a little bit of pace himself. We see a big slide there from Hignett coming out of sort of 4 and 5. So those tyres will start to be getting towards the end of their life. So he did pit 12 minutes earlier than Vinny Caniero, and that's definitely something to take into account as well with this battle here between Rayton and Russell. And that looks like it's just opened up a little bit further now, the difference between those two. But yeah, that tyre life is 16 minutes difference between Rayton and Russell. So in the closing stages, we're within the final 10 minutes. As what's happened to Hayes? Let's see. Oh, he went around by himself. So we're talking about old tyres, and it looks like someone's fallen victim to that. That's Mitch Hayes. So he had a little pirouette around, and there's Hildebrand coming through, and that was the damage done. So Mitch Hayes down in P9 right now. He was running up there in the top 5 for a while. He qualified 5th, but currently sitting in 9th right now. As we get back to Paul Russell and Terry Rayton. As mentioned, 16-minute difference in tyre life right now. Will that come into play in the final 9 minutes of this one? We're going to have to wait and see. Here's Neil Fakeney. Looks like he's finally close enough here to launch an attack into turn 3, sorry. He goes deep under brakes down the inside. Doesn't quite get it done. It's going to make him a little bit vulnerable to the car behind. That's the Ferrari belonging to Mark Hurley. And he manages to fend him off for now. So Neil Fakeney decided to go for it. We are in the dying stages of this one. Only 8 minutes 20 seconds left, in fact. So not much time left in this one to make moves. Hildebrand is leading the silver class by a absolute country mile right now. So we might have Chris Hildebrand on. I think he doesn't mind having a bit of a sing as well. So we'll see if we can... do we really want to get a song out of him? I don't know. But we'll wait and see. Maybe we should start cheering for Neil Fakeney. I'm kidding. Alright. Gap 3 seconds the difference between Ricker and Lawrenson. So it's sort of just ever so bit by bit just continuing to open up a little bit further between first and second. So Andrew Lawrenson has this race well in hand right now. 29.8 was his last lap, about 1.5 tenths faster than Ricker. So he's got a pretty tight grip on P1 in the closing stages of this one. Watching Neil Fakeney hunting down Peter Wall and Mark Hurley just running a little bit wide there. A few other cars getting quite close together. One of them is Mitch Hayes, who was behind Hildebrand. Russell and Rayton continue to stay joined at the hip. And then here we go. So Canero and Hignett is down to below a second. The difference between the two, 2/100ths of a second faster that last lap was, a 1 second, 1.2 seconds, sorry. That last lap, Vinnie Canero was faster than Benjamin Hignett. So those tyres, as I mentioned, there's a big difference in tyre life, 12 minutes difference between the tyres of Vinnie Canero and Benjamin Hignett. This is for a podium as well. Vinnie Canero, he has had a podium a few races back at the Nordschleife, but right now he is fighting for his second podium of the season. And we saw just before when we first saw Hignett back on the screen, there was a big slide, which sort of got me talking about the tyre life right now, and I reckon those tyres are running out in a big way at this stage. Canero is all over the back of Benjamin Hignett in the purple and pink Lamborghini. They make their way towards turn 9, and Canero is going to be feeling a lot more confident through there than Benjamin Hignett right now. Gap still at 3 seconds, the difference between Lawrenson and Ricker. I'm going to stay with this little scrap going on here. Now, that's a lot better lap there from Hignett than his previous lap, but it's still half a second slower than Vinnie Canero. Tucks into the draft, ducks out so late there, as late as he possibly could. Looking to go around the outside of turn 3. Hignett will have the inside line. Canero's going to go back for the cutback. He should have pretty good traction with those tyres, that they're in much better condition than the tyres of Hignett. And you can see it there. He has a lot more grip, gets the better acceleration out, gets the job done. Is Hignett going to dive down the inside at the next corner? No, he isn't. So Vinnie Canero right now is in P3. So he's in line for a podium finish. If he can get that Ferrari through, and you would think in the clean air, he's going to have a good chance of doing that with Hignett and his old tyres. So great driving there from Vinnie Canero. Currently on track for would be his second podium finish of the season. As mentioned, the Nordschleife was his previous other podium appearance. And then Paul Russell and Terry Rayton not quite suffering the same fate at this stage. So perhaps that Honda just able to look after the tyres a little bit better. And Paul Russell would be hoping that changes rapidly in the next 3 minutes and 40 odd seconds as they go through turn 10. Can he get a good run on him here up the hill into turn 1? But plenty of grip. fight. So what's the tyre life difference between these two? 16 minutes. The difference between the two. So Russell's tyres will be feeling a little bit nicer. Still, I rate him a bit of a chance here though in the dying stages of this one. Probably got about another 2 laps after this one to get it done. Gap is still 3.3 seconds. 3.5 between Lawrenson and Ricker right now. So Andrew Lawrenson looking on track to take his 3rd race victory of the season. He'll be the first driver to do so, to get to 3 wins. Terry Rayton's got a couple of wins. Max Ricker's got 1, Hignet's got 1, and there's a few others scattered through there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6 and 7. Anyway, that doesn't matter right now. Hignet hasn't exactly fallen off the back of Canero either, so he's managing to stick with him. It's about a tenth the difference on that last lap, so he's not going to give this up without a fight, and that just might be fight over, unfortunately. Pushing a little bit too hard. Let's go on board with him as he goes through turn 1. Just hit that curve at the wrong angle, and that upset the car, and he was pretty lucky to keep it facing the same way. Yeah, that's a big whack. Yep. Big recovery from Hignet. So we go back to live images. So that just gives Vinny Canero a little bit of breathing room that he needed late in this one. So this is the difference between Rayton and Russell. Then we've got Hayes and Hildebrandt. So Hildebrandt has the silver class victory all wrapped up here right now. It'd give his championship a nice shot in the arm with Neil Fakeney, championship leader by 12 points, finishing sitting in P13 right now. So Hildebrandt won't want to do anything to jeopardise that. Because that could change things dramatically for him if he was to get into an unnecessary scrap. There we go. Leader is on the final lap. So these guys will be wrapping this up very, very shortly. So good battle going on there. As Mitch Hayes, he ran a little bit wide. No, he didn't. He's still good. James Mack, he's all over the back of Matt Frost. And then Neil Fakeney and Peter Wall. These two still duking it out. They've been having a good old scrap towards the end here. How good is that camera angle? So good. So Lawrenson about 3rd distance around the circuit. Started in P2. Currently occupying P1. That's where he's been for the majority of the race. As you can see there, not too far away now, the 444. Making his way through turn 7 for the final time this evening. We'll just keep abreast of these other battles. But Andrew Lawrenson just a couple of turns away now. And from taking out his 3rd win of the season. There he goes to turn 9, now through turn 10. Congratulations, Andrew Lawrenson. He is race victor, his 3rd of the season. Well done, Andrew Lawrenson takes victory in round 8 at the Red Bull Ring. Max Ricker in P2. Congratulations to him. And then Vinny Canero, his equal best finishing spot of the season, and his 2nd P3. Congratulations. He comes home in 3rd. Hignet in 4th position. Terry Rayton is going to just pip Paul Russell at the line. Rayton 5th. Russell in 6th. Nando Latenzio, he's a little ways off. He's just coming through the final turn now. So that will be P7 for him. And our silver class winner is Chris Hildebrandt. So congratulations to him. Chris Hildebrandt finishes 8th, just gets home before Mitch Hayes, who finishes in 9th. 10th is Matt Frost. 11th is James Mack. Peter Wall is going to just get home here. He does. He just gets it on the line from Neil Fakney. Mark Hurley, 14th. And 15th is Lee Perkins. So congratulations. He is our AM class leader. Silver class was Chris Hildebrandt. And pro was Andrew Lawrenson. So Herbertron finished in 16th. 17th was Mark Stevens. And Adrian Rice, 18th. 19th is James Bridgens. So, whew, that was good racing. So, congratulations, Andrew Lawrenson. He is our race winner, along with Chris Hildebrandt. And it was Lee Perkins was the AM class victory. Let's see if we can get someone online for a quick little post-race interview. Alright, I'm in there, so let's see if anyone decides to jump in here. But that was a good one. So we'll see if anyone wants to join us here. Do some post-race interviews, and then if not, then we'll wrap things up. But that was a good race. See if anyone wants to jump in here. Doesn't look like it. Alright, maybe I need to put in the chat again for next week, maybe. Oh, here we go. Chris Hildebrandt is in the chat with us. Let's see. Now, just check if you've got push to talk on there. Can you hear me?
Push to talk, mate.
You got me?
Yeah, got you, Nick.
Yeah, how are you? I'm good, mate. How are you?
Oh, feeling good after that one.
Yeah, nice, man. Congratulations, silver class victory, and you're going to take the championship battle down to the final round with you and Neil Fakey to Suzuka next week.
Yeah, well, that was the plan for this round because the Lexus was pretty good around here. It sucked at Brands last week, but it was really good around here. So the mission was just to get as much gap on Neil as I could to kind of close the points a little bit, so that only a little bit of work to do next week.
Love it. And give us a bit of an overview of your race. I can't remember. I think you qualified top 10. I think this week.
Yeah, somewhere top 10, 8th maybe.
Yep.
I think. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so the race started out kind of good, avoided the turn 1 carnage. I don't know, someone hit the inside curb and launched across the track, so avoided that and just kept my head down and just kept pushing. It was a bit hard early on because I had a bit more pace than J-Max, so he was slowing me up in some bits, and I had a few oh shit moments thinking I was going to just go up the back of him, but But yeah, once I got through there, it was just clean air and just, heads down, clean race.
Love it. So let's get to the serious stuff, though. So are you a bit of a singer or something like that? I see in the chat. Is it you who's the singer?
But I don't sing, but some of the stuff that comes out of my mouth in Discord is why it's there. But it's not all PG, and I don't know if it'd be appreciated on the YouTube channel, but I don't think you get me singing now. But if I win the championship, maybe you'll get a little sing-a-song out of me.
Oh, I like it. All right, well I'll make a note of that, and I'll keep that in mind for next race. Well, you're definitely taking it down to the wire. And how do you feel about Suzuka? Is that where does that rate for you? Is it a favourite, not a favourite? How does the Lexus go around there?
To be honest, last time I've driven there was maybe a season or two ago. Haven't been there for a while, but last time I remember the Lexus was okay, but let's just see what the latest BOP does the Lexus there. But looking good.
Why the Lexus? Why the car choice of the Lexus?
So I started my ACC journey on the Lexus.
Yeah, right.
And then kind of was just mixing it up, different cars every season, but then I thought, hey, no one's using it this season. I'm just going to go back to my roots and
Yeah.
give her a crack again. Because after the last update, or the second last update, they actually made it good again. It sucked for a little bit. It was pretty slow, but they actually gave it some love in the second last update, and so yeah, why not?
Yeah, love it. Okay, cool. Well, congratulations. I'm looking forward to next week, and we'll see if we can get some singing out of you next week if you win the championship.
No worries, Nick. Cheers, buddy.
Cool.
Thank you.
See you, mate. Bye.
Bye.
All right, and I think we've got Andrew Lonson on the line here. Overall, Victor, can you hear me, Andrew? I think it's got push to talk on there. Oh, you there?
I got pushed to talk turned back on, mate. How are you?
Yeah, no.
All this time listening
Yeah,
to you. Never spoken to you. How are you, mate?
I know, man. It's nice to virtually meet you. What a... it's almost I'm a bit starstruck. I see you winning all these races and championships all the time. So the first time...
I'm not. I'm the one looking for signatures and autographs, mate.
I love it. How you going, man? You good?
Yeah, very good, very good. Can't complain.
You've
It's,
you've come back with a vengeance from your overseas trip to Japan, I think it was. I think people were saying.
It was. I've done that twice now, and I keep putting myself behind the 8 ball for the second half of the season, which is exciting, but not productive if we're looking towards winning the thing.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely giving us you're giving us something to look forward to next week with the final championship round. What's in Japan? You seem to be going there quite regularly. Well, relatively regularly, anyway.
Yeah. Oh no, it was luck. So, girlfriend and I had a trip booked right at the start of COVID, which
Yep.
didn't occur. So as soon as we were able to get back over there, we went back over there. Her sister lives in Tokyo as well, and the first time we went over, it was to replace that initial trip. Second one, there were free return flights with Jetstar that coincided with a music festival. I thought, yep, sweet, happy days, let's go do that. Third one, it was for the Grand Prix. It just all happened in quick succession. It wasn't planned. It was just lucky timing and cheap flights.
Yeah, love it. All right, well, let's talk about today. So, started in P2, and you had a good battle with Max Ricker again. It was I think it ended up being about 3 seconds the difference between you two, and he went for an undercut in the pit stops, didn't quite make it work. So, just can you walk us through today's race?
Yeah, he had the pace obviously in qualifying. I couldn't make the Audi much sharper without it becoming unwieldy, so I focused on making it a decent, consistent race car that protected the tyres in those long corners, which it seemed to be.
Yep.
I figured if I can deliver him to the clutches of Hignett in the Lambo for the first couple of laps, that'll give me time to get a bit of a gap, and then I can concentrate on maintaining that and keeping the tyres fairly safe. I was hoping he would do the undercut, because I thought at least then he'd have a slow out lap, but I'd have to match it immediately. I saw J-Mac went into pit in his McLaren a couple of laps earlier, so I watched the gap that he had against me for the first lap, and then suddenly he regained it on the second lap, so I knew I had to mirror it immediately. I was surprised I came out with the gap that I did. He must have overshot the box or been conservative on the entry or something.
No,
but
he
then
was
it was
the same.
just
He was identical pit stop to you.
Really?
So, yeah, identical. I think it was about 3 seconds the difference, about 2.8 when he came in for the pit stop, and it ended up being about 2.8 when it was all when both of you guys had stopped. So he had identical pit stop time to you.
Oh, magic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, managed to maintain the gap then. I thought he'd come on strong at the end. I think his car was ultimately quicker at the end of the day, but I figured the tyres would dictate the result at the end of it. I almost dropped the ball a couple of times in the last corner with a RNG hit on that inside curb. But that's more on me because the car didn't drive into the curb on its own. Yeah, otherwise good. I popped the rear tyre doing a burnout at the end.
Yeah.
Some of that.
Love it. All right, and so Suzuka next week. How do you like that track, and how does the Audi go around there?
Wouldn't have a clue how the Audi goes around there. I don't think I've driven it there. Love the track. Walked it 2 or 3 weeks ago when I was there, so hopefully that'll give me absolutely no advantage. Who knows? But I enjoy it. It'll be good times. 100-minute race there. It's hard on tyres. It's a very abrasive surface, so it should be one for the sensible elder gentleman racer to succeed in, which is not me. So we'll see where we go.
All right. Well, no doubt. I'm sure we'll see you at the pointy end of the field, and yeah, championship still up for grabs. So nice to finally virtually meet you.
Likewise, sir.
Congratulations for this evening, and good luck for next week.
Magic, will do. I'm going to put together a dodgy special hentai livery for the race too. Keep you all interested.
Love it.
Cool.
All right, I'll make sure I get that uploaded.
Good man.
All right, cheers.
Thanks again, mate, for all your work.
Yeah, all good. Thanks, mate.
See you, mate.
All right, and I think we have Lee Perkins was our AM class victor. I can see him, I think, in the chat under Merlin. I'll just turn him up here. Are you there, Lee? Can you hear me? Are you there? Lee Perkins, I see you in the room. Can you hear me? Oh, he's in there. I don't think he's... I wonder if he's got push to talk on. Just bear with us. Maybe he's gone already. Maybe he's... Can you hear me, Lee Perkins? He's there, but he's not talking. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll give him another few seconds or so. But he took out the class victory, and yeah, he's going to take it down to the wire next week in Suzuka as well with the AM Championship. So yeah, I don't know what's happened to Lee, but congratulations to all our class winners tonight. So Andrew Lawrenson in the pro, Chris Hildebrandt in the silver, and it was Lee Perkins who we didn't quite get for an interview. So next week though, we're going to do 100 minutes of Suzuka, which is very exciting, and that will conclude the season. So stick around for that one. That will be same place, same channel, same time next week, 100 minutes of Suzuka. I hope everyone had a good evening tonight. I hope you all enjoyed that race. I'm going to wrap things up now, and yeah, I'll see you all again next week. Enjoy the rest of your week,